right. So I'm so happy to have you on the Original You podcast. Where are you speaking from?
I'm out in New York City.
New York City. Okay. Natalia is from New York City. And just jot that down because I'm archiving these conversations geographically.
Oh, perfect. I love that.
So, welcome to the Original You podcast, Natalia. I'm so happy to have you here. And as you know by now, there are basically three questions on being and becoming who you are. And the first question is, who are you? Who do you feel yourself to be, not what you do necessarily or what other people think of you, but who are you deep inside?
Yeah, I love that question. I think I've been on a journey the past maybe 3 years of really defining that more. And like you said, aside from who I am for work or as a mom, I think I'm just a very lighthearted, carefree, spiritual being.
Cool. Um, and can you tell me a little bit about the evidence you have of that?
Yes. I have noticed that when I started doing more meditation and yoga in the early mornings between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., it's allowed me to silence the noise in the world, silence what other people are saying, what they're doing, and just kind of connect to my inner self, my spirit self. And from that, I've noticed that I show up different in the world. I feel like I connect better with people. I love people more and it feels more real. I can't think of any better words to put it into than like it just feels more real and authentic than any other version of myself that I've had over the years.
What gives you the idea that you are carefree?
Well, I notice now that things don't easily affect me as they used to. I don't feel like I react the way I used to if something happened. Well, let's just say doesn't happen the way I want it to go, or I don't get what I want in a different scenario. Before, it used to change me into like worry or frustration or irritated. And now I just see it as okay, so it wasn't meant to be. And I can move on and let it go. And there's no further expectation of it.
Mhm.
If I'm going after something and it falls through, especially when it comes to work, I just realize it wasn't meant to be. And it wasn't meant to be because there's a better opportunity for that time and energy.
And what is that spiritual side of you that shows up day to day right now?
To me, it's feeling more connected to other people, to my
Mhm.
surroundings, and not feeling as an individual. It's about feeling more like I'm a part of something bigger.
Mhm.
And this allows me to feel connected, less alone, somehow even more empowered than I used to feel.
That's great. So, can you talk a little bit about how people, your human community, has shaped you? Your family, friends, colleagues, teachers, mentors, education.
Yes. So in the past, I felt like they had a heavy impact on who I was, my view on the world, how I should react, how I should respond. And I think that comes back to where I was very disconnected to my natural being, which most people, you're raised to or at least I was, right? Let's not say we are, but for myself, I always felt like I had a wall up. I couldn't trust people. You can't trust people, is what I heard a lot from family, from other people. Don't be so trusting. Um, Even when it comes to love, love always felt conditional. It's like, how are people showing up for me in order for me to love them? And when I started to do again the meditation and more inner work, I realized that I don't need somebody to love me for me. I don't need them to love me in order to love them. I don't have to put conditions on my love. I don't need people to show up or treat me a certain way. I don't have to place all these conditions on them in order to love them. Like I could just love them with no expectation of receiving back. When you do receive back, it's great, it's amazing. But just having that inner love for myself and others, it just makes it easier to not have to require it back from them.
So, have human beings shaped who you are? Family, friends, colleagues, mentors? Have they had a role to play?
Yes, they have helped me see what I want and what I don't want. In the past, I did a lot of what I didn't want, thinking that was the norm, where now I dive into more of what feels good for me and being okay with that. And some people still agree with my new decisions, and some people don't, and that's okay. And now I'm carefree enough to say that's okay.
And who are those people? What human beings have impacted you?
I would say every person I've come in contact, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, teachers, um, even strangers on the street. I don't think we realize the impact we have on each other.
Mhm.
I've been walking on the street and, even crossed a homeless, what appeared to be my hallucination is that they were homeless and they were on a rant and just speaking so much wisdom. And by hearing them, it did impact me. And it also made me realize that it doesn't matter demographics or, income brackets or any of that kind of stuff doesn't matter. We all have this deep wisdom. And if we open ourselves to it, we can receive it. We can learn from each other. We can grow from each other.
And so you've been open to everybody around you since you were very
Yes.
little. Has that changed over time?
I've always been an observer. I study people, I learn from people. I've always been that way. As a child, I was very introverted to myself, very quiet, just observing the world. I read a lot of books, and to this day, I'm still the same way. And I think that's helped me understand people and how to relate to people and how to build relationships with people by being that observer.
So the observer hasn't changed over time.
No, no, I definitely love to learn from other people, especially learning from others' mistakes is really big for me. Is like, how can I take what I see in others and learn from it so I don't make the same mistakes? Not that I haven't made mistakes, but I want to prevent as many as possible.
Mhm.
I'm a mother now, so I used to see my mother, see other mothers, and a lot of them seem very stressed out. Um, they seem like they gave so much of themselves and they forgot about self-care. They forgot to, make space for themselves. And now as a mother, I do that for myself. And I show up better because I'm less stressed. I'm not stressed out, frustrated to where something small happens, I'm yelling and screaming because, it's just like a melting pot.
So, how did motherhood change you? That's a huge milestone, a developmental milestone
Yeah,
in
huge.
anyone's life.
I didn't understand motherhood until I became one and didn't realize a lot of probably what my mother experienced. Why she was so frustrated, why she always seemed like she was screaming and like upset or bothered. Um, I also have been able to see my child develop and like the different stages. And that's created, again, like that whole like curiosity of my observer side of seeing a human being develop in the different stages, and also realizing how much intelligence and wisdom we are born with, how much carefree, you know, loving personalities we are, like spiritual beings, before we start engaging in the world. And I want to say almost become corrupted, because if you look at kids, they're just so innocent. They're so loving. They can get in an argument. Somebody can, maybe they get in a fight. And then within hours or a day, it's like nothing happened. They're back to being friends and being loving and being kind. And it's been very cool to have like that experience as a mother. I was an aunt before I was a mother, and it's different. It's completely different being the actual parent versus just an outside aunt.
Do you find it hard or do you find it easy? What
Um,
is the impact on you?
to me, the hardest part is figuring out what works for us, what works for myself and my daughter. Um, I don't feel there is a one size fits all to parenting. So, yeah, I can listen to somebody, I can read a book on something and listen to a podcast and pull advice, but I'm still filtering out what makes sense for me and what works for my daughter and I. So I think that's probably the hardest part too, is how do I guide her, teach her without, I don't want to over influence her. I don't know how else to say that. I want her to be her own being as well. And I don't know how to find, or I've been trying to find that fine line to walk in, I guess.
Do you find that you are mothering the way your mother did or your parents did?
Yes and no. I think I'm a healthy balance of both of my parents. Um, I think I get my more nurturing side from my mother, of course. She was always the nurturing one, the one to soothe us, very hands-on. And my father was the very cool, calm energy. And I think that was a really good balance for me to experience. I think they complemented each other very well. So I would say I do carry on some of, they were a little strict and they had higher standards. So I have a little bit of that for my daughter, but I'm also a little loose with it too. I don't want her to feel that extra pressure of doing something, like having it perfect, doing it right, because there is no perfection, there is no right.
So, what about friends and other couples and the environment you live in now? Does that impact how you are different from your parents, let's say?
So I was born and raised in Texas. My daughter has been born and raised in New York City,
Ah,
two completely different environments and worlds.
mhm.
And because we're in New York City, she's in school now and she's 9 years old. I have been engaging with a lot more parents, of course. And in New York City, we're like just a melting pot of culture and demographics. So because of that, I have been exposed to a lot more of different parenting styles. And some of it, yes, I have taken, I like it. There's a lot more, there's parents that I know that are very, very, um, how would I say this? They're just very carefree. I don't know, not carefree, but they, I feel like they allow their kids to just be very free range, just very independent. And that's taught me to let my daughter be a little bit more independent as well.
That was your
Um,
experience.
that's what I've been noticing here. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you were a child, that wasn't your experience.
No. So in Texas, I grew up in San Antonio. It's predominantly Hispanic. And yeah, so there's a whole different, I would say past generations, it was very traditional. Like you are very obedient to your parents, the parents are stricter, you do as you're told and you shut up. So to say. And these kids, they're just completely here in New York City. They have a mind and mouth of their own, and it's
Hmm.
normal.
Right. They can assert themselves much more
Right. Yes.
than you were
They grew
able
up a
to.
lot faster over here. They're
Right.
exposed to a lot more.
And I don't know if your mom was working when you were a child. Are you working as you raise your daughter?
Yes. So I actually got my real estate license. And then a few months later, I found out I was pregnant. And I decided to make it work because I was going to be in control of my own schedule, anyways.
Mhm.
I did go through a period of guilt, I guess, mom guilt. And it goes back to tradition where past generations in my culture, you stay home and you're a housewife. And I was trying to break free of that because I knew I needed something of my own. I am an achiever by nature as well. So I needed to feel successful even outside of my home. And, now I'm a single mom. So I can't, that's not a choice. Like I do have to work and I actually love working. I am able to blend it. I can take my daughter to work with me. So that's extremely helpful. My mother, she was a stay at home mom until I believe I was in middle school. Between middle school and high school, she started working part time. And
Mhm.
even with her, it was seasonal. She was a tax preparer. So during tax season, she was busy. Other than that, she would be a stay at home mom.
Oh, great. So, the last part of this interview is about the impact of technology on your life.
Mm,
Maybe how you use it, um, what is a regular part of your life, if it is at all,
yeah.
how it's hurtful, how it's helpful to you.
So technology has been helpful for me. It has been helpful when I was even raising my daughter as a toddler. There was, when she started kinder, there was a discussion on that as well. If they should be on tablet, should they be watching, a screen at all times? And I loved how I joined this pod with the school and they were going over the same subject. And there was one man, which I was surprised. He was older. He was probably in his late 70s. And he was actually in agreement that it wasn't so much use it or not use it, but how you use it. And I said, yes, I feel the exact same way. Right. So it's like anything else, there's pros and cons. And if you lean into the pros, I think technology is great. My daughter actually learned more sign language off of a screen. I was trying to teach her myself. She learned a few, but she started picking up a lot more faster by watching a cartoon of a baby doing it. So maybe
Wow.
she felt like she could relate to this baby and it made it easier for us to sign along with the baby. So that was exciting. That and Spanish has helped her using technology. But I do try to limit it, of course. I want her to do more actual hands on stuff than being on a tablet or being on a screen the whole time. for my work, I use a lot of technology, um, especially with, you know, the new AI stuff that's going on. It helps me save a lot of time when it comes to creating emails, creating marketing material, and using social media for it. But I'm also very intentional. I don't get stuck in doom scroll like some people do. I know exactly what I'm doing. I get in there, I do it, and then I sign out.
Mhm.
So I think it goes back to how you're using it versus using it and not using it.
Right. And what about even in the mothering, in the parenting?
Mhm.
Is it helpful to stay in touch with your daughter because you have technology?
Um, so one thing that I have liked because she's starting to do more play dates. She stays the weekends with her cousins or her dad, and I like us to be able to call each other and actually do a video chat like we're doing right now.
Hmm.
I love that part of it. It makes me feel like I'm still connected to her more than if she's just gone those entire days and I can't speak to her or see her.
Right.
Um, but even
And
right now, we're in completely different locations, and it's so nice that we're able to have this conversation and
yeah,
see each other.
yeah. And what do you usually end up using? Do you use FaceTime when you're in touch
We
with
have been
her or?
using, I actually got her a separate messenger account through Facebook. So she can't accept anybody. All the approvals come through me. And we did that because I already had friends and family on there. So it's easy just to connect our kids and we still have access. You can't delete anything. Um, there's like minimal privacy on their end. So I can see everything, nothing can be deleted or hidden from me.
Mhm.
And that's what I've been primarily using with her as Messenger for kids.
Okay, cool. And what do
Mhm.
you use right now that you find the most helpful to you, whether it's in work or your personal life?
For technology?
Yeah.
Good question. I guess for me, it would really be my phone. And if I'm doing calls and videos, it's usually through Zoom.
Okay.
So phone and Zoom, if I'm going to do video, because I feel like that's the easiest way that anybody could connect versus the different apps between Android and Apple and whatever
Right.
else is going on out there.
Right. And for your AI to help with your emails, what are
Hmm.
you using?
I use a lot of ChatGPT and Gemini.
Okay.
I might be switching over more to Gemini, um, more for the research part of it.
Okay.
Hmm.
One of the questions that I normally ask, and I'm realizing I haven't yet, is what have been like or if you can think of a particular challenge that you've encountered in life, can you maybe go through that and how you overcame it?
Good question. I think the biggest challenge that I've overcome is really just making decisions that work for me, not what is in mainstream media or what majority might think is okay, right? Because I think at the end of the day, we all want to have connection and fit in. And sometimes we feel like we have to give up our own ideas in order to do that. And I've gotten to the point where I realized you'll find your people no matter what. So if you focus and do what feels good for you, what's true for you, that's in alignment with your standards, your beliefs, your values, you'll be attracting the same like people, like-minded people with without even having to try.
So your challenges have been more internal.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like overcoming your own
right.
bias.
Feel like a lot of um, a lot of the daily day-to-day life is easy. I think more of the struggles come internally for me.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Is there anything else that you would like to comment on that stands out as kind of inflection point? We've talked a lot about mothering and motherhood, and that was
Yeah.
obviously a big inflection point and milestone in your life. But anything else that you want to comment on?
Um, I think the biggest thing is encouraging other people to take more time for themselves with themselves. There's just so much noise in the world,
Mm,
and I think it would be helpful if more people took time away from the noise to connect with themselves, sit with themselves and their own thoughts. Um, I think it could be a better world. I think people
great.
just need to, take that time.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Thanks so much for participating and being on the Original You podcast. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you. This
having
was
you. And
great.
yeah, thanks so much. Take care.